what is the basic raglan construction? Why doesn't it fit our bodies well? And what are the modern adjustments that designers make for a top-down seamless sweater that fits better? Real quick, if this is the first time we're meeting, what's up? My name's Amanda. You may know me on the internet as Mandobug, and this is my crafty channel here on YouTube where I share inspiration and education along my pursuit of craftiness. So that if that sounds like something you're interested, definitely subscribe for more videos along that line. So let's go over what a basic raglan construction looks like. Now, there are two main types that I'm going to talk about because they're both important and they're both basic. So the very first one, a basic pullover, a basic top-down seamless raglan pullover looks like this. So from this image, you can see that there is basically a rectangle. You cast on a circle or you chain a circle if you're crocheting, and then you have these 4 seam locations, and you're increasing on either side of the seam, and that's going to create your front, your back, and your 2 sleeves. You're going to put the sleeve stitches on hold for later, and you're going to join the front and back by adding some extra underarm stitches. That is your basic raglan shape sweater. Now, there is another variation of this sweater, and that is if you're going to do a V-neck instead of the crew neck pullover. If you're going to do a V-neck pullover or you're going to do a cardigan, there is another set of increases, and that construction looks like this. So you can see there's the 8 like there was in the crew neck pullover, but now there is an additional extra increase location on the front, left, and right of the sweater. And I call it an increase location because in crochet you might not just be increasing one stitch, you may be needing to do more than one increase depending on the height of the stitch that you're using. With knitting, increases are pretty much constant because you can't really change height. So I did just want to add that side note. So that is what the basic construction looks like. While this construction is very easy to design and very simple to create and follow a pattern for, it does have some drawbacks when it comes to fit. So what are the 2 problems when it comes to the fit? Well, the first one has to do with the fact that the increases are stacked and constant. This assumes that the top of your body is increasing at the same rate all around. And for most people, that's just not true. Let's take into account someone that has a larger front bust than the width of their cross back, right? This has to do specifically for women who have a larger bust. We're talking B cup and above. You're going to have a hard time with the fit on this because your increases in the front are not happening at the same rate as your body is increasing in the front. So what ends up happening is if you increase to your full bust measurement, which is all the way around your back and the fullest part of your bust, and the sweater is split where the same stitches in the front are the same stitches in the back, you're going to have excess fabric in the back and you're going to have a bunch of excess fabric under your arms. This is the biggest problem that raglan shaping creates and why there are so many modifications that are made to this, especially for women with larger busts. Another problem is that the neckline sits at the same spot in the front and the back, and this is not how our bodies are created. We have a curve to the back of our shoulders. Let's see if I can share mine with you. The back of our neck sits higher than the front of our neck due to the curve of the back of our shoulders. And so if the sweater is not taking that into account, you'll have a funky fitting neckline. So I talked about the constant rate of increases and the cross back to front ratio creates a bunch of fabric in the armpit, and then there's a problem with the neckline. But then also the poor armhole shaping, it leaves this excess fabric in your armpit, and it's not as noticeable on a tee like this one because it's such a thin, finely woven cotton. But when you're knitting or crocheting yarn that's worsted weight or above, it's much thicker, and that excess fabric is going to be much more noticeable in your armpit areas. So what can we do to fix these problems? The first simple fix for this sweater type is to add some short rows at the top of the back of the neck. This is going to help fit your neckline and account for that curve that I mentioned earlier. And then the rest of the issues are all in our armpit. They're all in our armhole here. They have to do with our armhole shaping and the difference between our upper bust and our full bust. So let's take a look at this picture here. This is the first option for adjustments. You can knit or crochet to your upper bust measurement instead of your full bust measurement, and then cast on or chain extra underarm stitches. This is going to account for that difference, right? So you can see the picture on the left is what our typical set-in sleeve looks like for a set-in sleeve t-shirt. The picture in the middle is that raglan shaping that we're talking about, the basic raglan shaping. And then the picture on the right is the adjustment. So if you knit or crochet to your upper bust measurement and then cast on extra stitches to account for your underarm and the difference between your upper bust and your bust, you'll see that that starts to contour that set-in sleeve shaping without having to do any other changes. It's a very basic addition. So this is going to eliminate the extra fabric in your armpit, and this adjustment, when you're looking for it in patterns, can be hard to find, but if you just look for patterns that mention that they're a modified raglan, or you check the schematic and the measurements, you'll be able to see that this adjustment has been made to make a better fitting top-down seamless raglan. The next adjustment that can be made is changing the rate of increases to contour the body's curves at the armhole. This is referred to as a compound raglan. So you have a slower rate of increases at the top of the yoke, and then it slowly increases faster and faster closer to the end of the yoke. This keeps the same stacked increases that create that iconic definitive line of a raglan sweater, but the changing rate of the increase curves that line. It curves the front stitches out into the underarm faster and at a lower location than a traditional raglan. When you're looking for patterns that use this kind of modification, again, they're described as compound raglans, and you'll find them all over the place. I know that Jennifer Wood has a few, such as the Corinne oval pullover, that are designed as compound raglans. Another option for adjusting a raglan sweater is to remove the early sleeve increases. So don't increase on the sides that touch the sleeves. What this does is this creates a skinnier shape along the top of your shoulder and really hugs the fabric to your shoulders and helps provide a snug fit that keeps the raglan shaped cardigans from falling off. You'll see that this modification does not take into account the excess fabric in the underarm, but it does fix the problem of your cardigan falling off, which is a huge problem with raglan shaped cardigans. This type of shaping can be seen in the cardigan that I'm wearing. I love this cardigan. This is the first time that I fit a cardigan I could actually wear because I kept knitting top-down seamless raglan cardigans that did not account for that shoulder shaping, and they just want to fall right off, and this one does not. You'll see there is a little bit of excess fabric in the armpit, but I don't mind. I've got the nice snug fit at the shoulders, and that's what's the most important to me for this sweater. This is the Beekeeper cardigan by Marie Green, and she describes this shaping as a unique saddle shoulder shaping. So when you're looking for patterns that have a modification like this, look for something that says that it's unique or the omission of the word raglan. You're looking for top-down seamless sweater, and maybe it doesn't say raglan. And then the last modification that I'm going to talk about today is known as the Coco Knits method. This is outlined in the Coco Knit Sweater Workshop book by Julie Wiseman, and this is a heavy raglan modification, but I'm including it here because it is a top-down seamless cardigan that's like a raglan, but it's got modifications to give you the fit of set-in sleeves. So you can see from this picture, it mimics the set-in sleeve shaping exactly. Now, what she does is some short row shaping to contour the upper back and the tops of the shoulder. And then in her workbook, there is a color-coded worksheet that helps you increase at the perfect rate in the right locations to fit your body's measurements. And if you're interested in sweaters like this, there are several sweaters in her book that use this technique. So real quick, I wanted to talk about how can you find these adjustments and patterns. I kind of went over the main ways you can adjust a raglan sweater. And if you're not interested in designing your own or figuring that out, what are patterns that you can follow that have already made those adjustments for you, and how do you find them? So I don't have a list of patterns for you, but I do have tips for finding those kind of patterns. And let me know in the comments down below if you have followed a modified raglan sweater that you love, knit or crochet. Share it down below so this can be a place for people to go find those patterns as well. So the first thing you're going to want to look for is the words modified raglan or compound raglan or adjusted raglan. You want to read in the description of the pattern that the raglan shaping has been modified in some way. That is a great starting point. Or possibly look for the top down and seamless description with the omission of the word raglan. And then again, like with the beekeeper cardigan, look for unique shaping descriptions like shoulder hugging. You're also going to want to look at the pattern photos, taking account the neckline, the armpit, and the back. You're going to want to look at pictures of the sweater being modeled on someone with body measurements that are similar to yours, and taking account those key areas, the neck, the armpits, the back. Is there excess of fabric in the back? Is the model got a larger bust and a smaller cross back like you? And how well does that pattern fit them? And did they make modifications to the pattern, or is that already written into the pattern? You're also going to want to look at the schematic and measurements if you can, and look at that cross back to bust ratio. Look at the depth of the yoke. Match those measurements to your body. See how well they fit. Or you can also invest in the Coco Knit Sweater Workshop book and follow along her method for tailor fitting a top-down seamless sweater to your body with the use of worksheets. So that's everything I wanted to talk about today. Please hit that like button if you found value in this video, and share your favorite modified raglan patterns in the comments down below. Until next time, guys, happy crafting. Bye!